It's
You
real.
think it's real?
It's real. It's
Yeah,
like
but you're a psyop from Urbit.
no, it's not a psyop. I just
It
like
is a
I
psyop.
like I
That's
like
exactly what a psyop is.
no to believe in
You
something.
said you would die for Urbit.
No, I would give. I would.
You didn't know what it was.
No,
a month
to create
ago.
a new.
That's
to create
the
nothing.
definition of a
Conferences are kind of psyops.
That is
Conferences are basically cult building exercises.
All right, everybody, what's going on? This is the Other Life Podcast. I am Justin Murphy. This episode is one in a whole series all about Urbit. Urbit is a whole new computing and networking paradigm that many of you know I've become very interested in recent months, really recent years, the past couple of years or so. I think Urbit is just way crazier and way cooler than most people realize. I think a lot of people are sleeping on Urbit and just don't really know about what's going on with it, what it is, and all the cool, badass people building Urbit, building things on Urbit, creating on Urbit. And so now the development of the technology is really picking up and moving faster. I decided that when the Urbit annual conference came to town in Austin this past October, that I would sit down with 10 different people all across the network, people who are building the technology, people who are creating on the network, and people just in this culture that still I think a lot of people don't know much about. So I can honestly say this was one of the most interesting experiences I ever had at any kind of conference, to be perfectly honest. I spoke with CEOs, I spoke with engineers, I spoke with e-girls from weird theory Twitter. Like, I'm not talking about Instagram chicks, I'm talking about like weird theory girls in, you know, the Other Life neck of the woods of the Twitterverse and the blogosphere. I talked with skitzed out writers and post everything podcasters, and very possibly I spoke even with an alien. I'm only half kidding. It was just wild, man. It was really, really wild. Really, really interesting set of characters you're about to meet over the next 10 episodes. And I'm just super pumped to bring this series out into the world. So real quick, before I forget, I do want to let you know, if you're interested in Urbit, it's now easier than ever to get onto the network. So I actually have a bunch of Urbit planets, aka Urbit ships, pretty much computers in the cloud, an individual computer in the cloud that can be yours. It also functions as your identity, and it's what you use to log onto the network and to use Urbit. So if you want to, I'll give you one. I have a bunch, and any listener of the show, I want to get you on Urbit. So you can just go to imperceptible.computer. I made a whole site just for this purpose. And yeah, drop your email and I will get you a planet, aka an Urbit ship. All right. Depending on whether you're listening to this now or 2 years from now, there may or may not be some kind of modest fee associated with it. Right now, I'm just giving them out for free. You don't need to have any coding or programming skills or experience whatsoever. It's very straightforward. I will give you your own planet and you'll be on the network playing around, talking to people in 5 minutes, probably. Okay. That's imperceptible.computer. I will put a link in the show notes. That's all from me. Let me get out of the way and on to the show.
All right.
Like
All
a
right.
filters on us.
Yeah, I can clean it up later.
Like maybe the one where like I like the one that's like
Oh no, I just mean like Chinese Kardashian type filters.
Chinese eyes.
No, like make us like just look really good.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Walter.
Really real.
Honor. Thank you for hanging out with me today. I appreciate it.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for having us.
Totally.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm excited to talk with you guys. A really interesting project. I was just listening to Wet Brain this morning. Wet Brain is basically a kind of new, somewhat hot podcast coming out of New York City. I'd say it's kind of buzzy right now. I've been hearing a lot about it.
Yeah,
Seems like
we got a lot of buzz behind us.
Seems like it's kind of blowing up. So I want to
We're
learn.
up next.
Yeah. So I want to learn kind of all about the project, and I want to learn a little bit about your backgrounds, kind of how you got into all of this. And yeah, I'm friends with a lot of people kind of, I think, in overlapping circles in New York City, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't really go there that much anymore lately. So I just kind of want to learn about like your pocket of the world, how you see things, some of your takes on culture, and especially this question around kind of these new emerging kind of post-cringe subcultures.
Mhm.
You know, I wonder if you guys have any thoughts on like how you define this kind of current moment, this kind of wave of kind of cultural upstarts that I would see you guys as a part of. Like, what's going on there, do you think? Do you have a kind of read on the moment of this kind of like underground post-cringe moment? Like, what's going on with that?
Well, I don't think we're like a New York podcast. First off, like we're like kind of just online.
Okay.
We live in New York, but I'm moving away from the city, for example, like in a month or something, hopefully. Or like we have maybe New York people on because like they're that we know them, but it's not really like New York centered, I'd say.
I mean-
Most of our listeners aren't in New York.
No,
They're in
no.
like rural America.
Yeah. About subculture, I mean, it's a whole new world. I don't know, like the hipster,
Web3.
like the hipster being like a flattening of like every subculture that's like come before it. Like it was like I don't know, like everything became the same.
And then a little bit
And
different.
then a little bit different,
then a
again and
little bit
again, and I think, like,
again and again.
it's like shit's getting weird.
Shit is getting
No, I
weird.
shouldn't swear. Stuff is getting weird.
It is
What the
getting weird.
beat-
And it's getting weird in like a way that like people are going to really live their lives like based on their subcultures again. Like it's not like just an aesthetic thing. It's like a, new value. Like everybody.
It feels to me like the last wave of what people used to call whatever, like alt culture or that shit. It feels what's going on now feels different compared to that.
Yeah, because I mean, there
do you agree?
is
Or
like the subculture was like not to be like go all like
Lowercase
leftist mode.
Mark Fisher.
Yeah, not like leftist mode, but like subculture was like subsumed by just like I don't know, like some complex killed subculture. You can't be subversive in any way that you've ever been subversive before.
right.
And so then it stopped, and like I don't know, like aesthetics don't matter. I mean, no, I guess like
Well, I think aesthetics are the only thing.
aesthetics are the
that
only
matters.
thing, or I can't think of a correct answer besides like whoa, like let's hang out and and I don't even know.
Right. It's like an emphasis on
this is so-
vibe. It's an emphasis on like being cool, like in a positive way, like relaxing and being chill as a positive ideal. You said
I mean,
aesthetics. It's this kind of, I feel like it's a reaction against these like kind of oppressive, overly serious norms in like hipster academic culture. It's like, I see people like you all as basically saying like, we're not going to try to impress you with like, intellectual arguments and shit like that.
I think it's just
Right.
like lore building and like language creation as like a
lore building's a good way
like,
to put it.
Lore building?
Like
Yeah,
I think like the
like as if
subcultures
it-
today, like they have like fake histories that they write themselves.
Yeah. Also, it's like, I don't know. We don't try to be academic at all. Like, what's the point?
Right.
I mean, we literally go through like a Joshua Citrello like politogram arc on every single one of our episodes, which is really funny.
I mean,
Right.
I like am more political than honored in
No,
general.
what do you mean?
Like I care more, but I like care less and less every day.
What you mean? You
on the
care more
other
about you know
hand.
more about American politics, or
Like I like talk about it a bit more, but I also like
mean,
care less and less every day. Like I can't. It's just like
yeah, you're having a
I'm like
an
having
arc.
a crisis. Yeah, I'm having an arc.
It's a
yeah.
logical arc of decentralization, libertarianism.
Yeah, I'm turning into a libertarian.
Yeah, so we're
Yeah.
definitely going to talk about how you folks got mixed into the Urbit crowd and your takes on all of that.
They just emailed us and
No,
asked us to go to
it's
a summit.
like
That's
it's,
what happened.
It's
Yeah,
it's
but now-
miracles.
Yeah, but,
it's all.
but now you're here. It seems like you kind of fuck with Urbit now.
Yeah, Honor said that this is the best thing that's ever happened to her.
Really? So what's your take on
That's what I've
Urbit?
always dreamed of.
Really?
This
So
is
of,
how do you see it? What's
of
going
a
on
whole
with it?
new web because the
What is it?
last web was good.
I mean, I've just dreamt of like
We love web too.
of like, I don't know, internet subcultures
so
like coming
Web
together
3.
in like a way that like can. I don't know. Like I just
Yeah.
like
It just feels like
just
old
feels like-
internet to me, and that's why it's cool.
I don't even know old
Like-
like
like old-
cyberpunk.
No, like what the internet felt like when we were like kids and like went
Yeah.
on forums.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
that's right now what Urbit feels like, and that's the community aspect is why it's cool to me. Like the tech stuff, I hardly even. I'm trying to understand, and I understand some of it, but it's like,
Yeah.
whatever. But like a decentralized, like community based computer is something I can get behind for sure.
I mean, when it was during I forgot if it was Galen or the other guy talked about like how on Hacker News, like when he first saw like first talk of Urbit, he was like, "Whoa!" Like somebody like took the time to like make a lot of new words, and that was part of it. I just think like
Mhm.
we're
We
I don't know,
love
like
new
all I
words,
want to
and-
do is like play Sim City, but like I don't know, like all I want to do is like play like Minecraft and like dolls and stuff. But
Yeah, I feel like you
and
guys
this
are
is just
both.
like it's fun again.
I feel like you guys are both reflecting this current kind of post cringe moment, which is similar to Urbit. I think this is kind of why they wanted to invite you, because people like you and our friend Barrett and a lot of people in these circles, to me, it's all about basically kind of freedom to just have fun with you and your friends. And it's a kind of like letting go of like major ambitions to like shape how other people think. It's like trying to convince other people is cringe. Trying to like develop a political program that takes power is cringe. I feel like a lot of these things that are like overly serious are now seen as cringe. And what's hot at the moment and what's really interesting and liberating to a lot of people is this kind of blending of fact and fiction, which you alluded to before. It's like people often will have a podcast and a Substack and different things, and they'll just kind of fuck around with
We've
all of them.
like
Yeah, like-
collectively probably like 2 Substacks, 40 Instagrams, 40 Twitters.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
For real?
Yeah, I mean, it's like you're playing lots of different characters. It's what is Sierra?
It's lore building.
Yeah, Sierra.
Yeah, I know
She
Sierra.
made a tweet today. She's like, she was like,
something like all 14 of those people are just
Like
one crazy white guy.
yeah, which is like so cool. But then Urbit's like kind of the opposite.
Well, Urbit's just about
it's
like
it's just yeah.
I mean, no, in some ways it's not though, because like
like
for example,
division.
like if you can be completely anonymous on there and build like whatever character you want.
Yeah.
But you are one character.
But you can have like 3 planets if
I
you
know,
want.
but it's like, once you have like a planet, like it's gonna be hard. Like this is like
No,
I don't know. It's
once
really fun. Like to like.
Once our star gets set up, I'm gonna have like 5 alter egos for sure.
I think I'm just gonna finally become the mix of all. I don't know, like all my alter egos as
But
one, like become my true
also,
self.
like-
Like
Yeah.
I'm like Urbit, like I feel like totally like cult. Like I would really like have to like really like not die right away for Urbit, but I would fight for Urbit. But like I would like birth for Urbit as like faith and nation.
Wow.
Like I don't
You're,
know. I'm
you're
just
Urbit
like
pilled
I mean yeah, but
quickly,
I'm also
pretty
like
quickly. You're just headlong for Urbit now.
yeah.
I just think it's like the last web was good. Web 2, we're big fans.
yeah.
So web,
Good
it's like
job.
I think it's I said this on WebBrain, but it's like so Halloween, the movie.
Yeah.
It was really good. And now Halloween Kills came out, I think yesterday. Oh, today's my birthday, October 16th.
Oh no shit! Happy birthday, dude.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much. I'm 26 years
Birthday
old.
energy. 20. It's crazy.
You're
You're 26
26?
because you've like
Yeah, I thought I was gonna die at 25.
Really?
This
From
is like
from what? Wet brain or what?
no.
Yeah, like the actual web.
Yeah.
No, like I don't know.
This is like your first birthday. Like it's like
This is my first birthday where I don't have to worry about like waking up tomorrow and like having to apologize for like nodding out at the table and like
Oh,
calling
yeah.
someone a
Do you mind if I
a
do
slur.
you mind if I ask what you're talking? Do you mind if I ask what you're talking about? Like, was it drug problems or what was it?
Yeah, no, yeah. I'm in 12 step and
Right
like,
on.
the whole thing, like
Right
clean
on.
like 9 months. But like 2 years ago, my birthday, I like was like saying all these slurs at the table.
you were.
Yeah, just like
Really?
I was being like really homophobic.
It's
like
crazy how everyone's
it
always
was a
accusing you
bit.
of
I was
blue
being
pill,
a
like-
bit, and then
Slur
these like kids
Walter.
I didn't even invite to my party were like you can't say that, man, like these skaters. And then I was like, I'm bisexual, I can say anything, but I was lying.
Wow.
So
Wait,
you're
what was I
20
talking about? Oh, Halloween. Okay, back
Yeah.
to
Yeah,
this.
I was like,
So Halloween Kills came out yesterday, and I think it's also going to be good.
Okay.
So that's kind of how I feel about Web
What?
3.
Nice. Let's go watch it.
Because Web 2 was good, like Halloween 1.
So Web 3 is just going to be better.
Web 3 is like Halloween Kills, which will probably
and I
I
don't
wouldn't
know.
dare read the reviews, but you don't want to read the reviews of Urbit either, because they're all like, oh, it's fascist,
Yeah.
or they're like, oh, it's only a weather app.
Yeah, but people will call fascist anything that's cool and interesting.
That's
when
why
I was in
that's-
8th grade, I called things fascist as like an insult, and now like
I
I know,
always
like,
refer
I,
to
like-
us as crypto fascists because it's like the first thing that like retards online will call you. So it's like funny to just say that's what you are.
Yeah, I was looking through some of your stuff before this podcast, doing my research, and I think I saw you messaging with like Caroline Calloway, and someone underneath it was like, Caroline, they're crypto fascists. You
Yeah,
Yeah,
shouldn't
and
be
then-
using it
I
like
made that into
I know,
a copy
and then I messaged
pasta.
the account, and I was like, "Yo, like, this is so funny. Like, do you want to join our Discord? Like, you don't have to subscribe." And then he's like, "Dude, I've been in your Discord. I was one of the first members of your Discord."
So they
And
know.
it's like, yeah. And I was like, "Oh, so like,
so they know.
yeah,
it's
I don't know,
actually
like copy pastas, creepy pastas, just like,
creepypasta.
like new
pasta, like
pasta.
the one you eat.
Yeah.
So you're
like
26, Walter. How old are you?
23.
23. Right on.
Yeah.
Awesome. And so let's talk a little bit about your background. So I understand you were in fashion for a while.
I'm still in fashion. I'm a casting director.
Oh, you still are. Okay. I thought you
Yeah.
left. I thought you left it.
1 foot in, 1 foot out.
And what did you learn from the fashion world? Like what was the big takeaway from your experience there? Like
I mean, I don't know. I was like,
but you came in through the last Vibe shift, which was like post internet.
I came in with like This Magazine,
like,
which was really, that's a
the
good
last time
point.
something happened.
Uh-huh.
is interesting shit happening in fashion right now, or
No.
it's dead?
Yeah, but they're starting the Urbit fashion board. It's going to change the world, just like FA.
So tell us about that. What is that?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know anything. I just like I hear it's starting.
All right.
Can I lean back here?
Yeah. You just keep it near your mouth if you can,
Yeah,
or project. You should be all right.
I'm not that
But
good
how
at
like
projecting.
I
more
am
of,
also
a
confused at how
mumbler.
like they just were like, yo, you have cool friends. Like, will you choose some of these friends to be in this photo shoot? Or you were like, I'm going to go on the street, just find the most fucked up people and
Kinda
sell them
that
to the
one.
fashion world.
Yeah. So tell us
But-
how.
I don't know
how
why
did
I'm
you,
swearing so much. I'm also like not supposed to swear and I never swear on Wet Brain, but like,
I don't mind.
I like, no. It, like,
if you want to be wholesome, I respect that.
no,
though.
it's not even wholesome. It's
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 okay.
just
you're
like-
having like a moment this
I'm
weekend.
not having a moment. I just seem like
You
having like a
are, you're, like, having
radicalization.
a
You're just excited.
rebirth
I
or
mean,
something.
it's like
you're having like not a rebirth, but like you're shedding a snake skin.
You're
Yeah.
like a born again Urbit Martian.
and I really like this year have like been like born again like 3 times, and it's
Really?
like at this certain point like I've been asking to get radicalized on the internet since I found out that was a thing that it could happen to you.
What kind of radicalization have you been looking for?
Really, whatever.
I mean, it just any like I don't know, like finding out that Jesus was the Messiah and the Catholicism is the one true religion, one true church, and there's no such thing as baptism of desire, like set of a contest.
Are you Catholic now?
Like, yeah.
No
I mean,
shit,
it
me
doesn't
too.
mean
Nice.
yeah. I mean, it's. I was talking to people earlier about like why Catholicism and like Urbit are like such a thing, but like my boyfriend, he's like a math nerd, not nerd, but like based math cath,
Nice.
and it's I don't know. But like Catholic aesthetics are obviously everywhere right now, and like it's so uncool right now to be Catholic. They're like, "Oh, dude, like everybody did that like 4 years ago," and it's like do it now. You might not have another 4 years, and like, like
we're in end
like
times.
if there's a chance that hell is real, like you really probably should do everything you can not to get there.
And a lot of people are going there, probably.
I mean,
almost
Matthew
everyone.
told me early on. He's like, I think like 312 people go to heaven every year. He's like, we'll be really lucky to get into purgatory.
So you were radicalized into Catholicism. What else have you been radicalized into lately?
I mean, into like, in I don't know, into
Wet
like
brain.
into like talking with someone else regularly, and then like just hanging out.
Yeah, and like she can't disappear like what she used to do a lot. I mean, she still does, but like she does it less.
Yeah, I used to. I don't know.
Like she used to like when we
like,
first
I never
became
had like a commitment.
Yeah, when
like,
we
that
first
mattered.
became friends, she would not answer for like so long.
And now you're committed to the podcast?
I mean, just to do something regularly.
Yeah, like she does it, and even if she's not perfect, she does her best. So I'm very patient.
Do you record every week? Twice a week?
couple times
yeah.
a week?
A couple times a week, and you're committed to the cause.
Yeah,
Nice.
I mean,
And that's good for you to have that.
I think I don't know. I
Yeah,
mean,
it's very
we
good,
don't have like
yeah.
we don't have an end game, so it's.
Well, it
I've
sounds
never,
like-
yeah, and then also just like
Yeah, we really
Web3
don't have
Urbit.
an
Also, like
agenda.
I became like I realized like maybe like conservative is like I became conservative in many more ways than I thought I would in a way that I would like to see those policies enforced.
Wow.
In like I don't know. I don't want my parents listening to this because they would be really sad.
And you went to Bennington, right? So you
Yeah.
come out of a very liberal kind of milieu.
Yeah, but Bennington is like Bennington's like Urbit. Like it's like there's like little houses where they each have their own culture, and it's like all these like it was a real like world building type thing with
I
a
saw
ton
s-
of rituals. And
I saw someone online
yeah.
say that you are like in a cult or starting a cult, or what were they referring to?
Oh, that was
That's just our Discord.
that's just our Discord, which is like
It's
I've
not a
already like started
cult.
like 3 like I
You
like,
started
I've
3
already, like,
cults?
I had a
like-
cult too, but I had to shut it down.
yeah, and I didn't like it wasn't on purpose.
Mine
but
was on
in
purpose.
second grade. It's just
Why'd
like,
you shut it down? Because it was getting too
I
out of
can't
hand.
talk about it.
Oh, it got too crazy?
Yeah.
Okay,
it was,
fair
yeah,
enough.
I mean,
It was a lot of drama.
it's a
And how
ton of
did your
people had
cults
been
go?
in legit cults at Urbit, so I was like, oh shit, like
Really?
like they're doing it again.
And
like,
what is
dang.
your cult
I don't know,
experience?
in like second grade, I just like started this total belief system that the school was haunted and we had to do these rituals in order to make the ghosts like not appear.
That
and,
was
like,
just your
people were
OCD.
doing like crazy stuff. It was like OCD, but like also now I know like it was like demonic. Like
I have a funny
it
joke, but I'll
was-
tell you later.
It was just like it was demons.
Right.
It was demons.
You were
probably.
harnessing satanic forces.
Yeah, I'm not even it's just like sensing them and trying to do something about it. But then like I just had kids. I had kids like I had kids just doing mad things like random like I don't even
Interesting.
know. It was just
Right. Is
it
wet
was
brain?
just it was just a narrative. It's like whatever. I studied theater, like theater theory, like
yeah,
It's
she's
just
a
like- I just
theater
like-
kid.
like
That's
making-
what
Right.
explains
I just like
everything.
playing-
This is like what
yeah.
you're saying before about lore building, right?
Yeah.
Like the shit that's hot now is people who can really like build whole worlds, right? It like blends
Yeah.
back on
But
fiction.
also, it's like Yeah, and also it's like for me, like I mean, not to get like I try. I feel like I've been like talking about like recovery too, like being
No, talk. I
too
mean,
much
it's the
in
most.
Whatever you
general.
want, yeah.
But
Yeah.
no, I just mean in general. It's like I'm getting like annoying about it. But
It's
it's
not
like for
annoying,
me
actually.
personally, like I was like I just did like I did whatever in fashion, like like did the next thing, one foot in front of the other, kind of like just like floated through life. I was like a normal, like kind of just like yeah, Bernie Sanders or whatever, you know. And it's like, but I always have had like a strong like personality per se, and like quirks, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then like when I like cleaned up, like I just like basically got red pilled, but not only politically, like also just in the sense I was just in what I'm getting at is I like got really freed. Like I feel like very free now in a way that like means like I can kind of commit to like whatever I want to do in a way where it's like I'm not worried about all of this other stuff. So like I
Nice.
can go to Urbit conference and whatever. It's just like, but my point with that is that like with the lore thing, like to me, it's like, it's like, it's just like about like you're living this. I don't know. Like I feel like me and Honor like kind of live what we like do, like pretty like close to our hearts and like also close to like what we say and what we do. I don't know. There's no agenda, I guess is what I'm saying. And also
Right.
like we like Honor will say something and then in the same sentence, like say the opposite, like 10 times an episode on WebBrain. And I do it as well. And it's just like, we're not pushing an ideology.
Right.
We're not like pushing anything political. It's like, for me, it's just this like kind of like freedom feeling that it's like, we're just like living our own truths, I guess.
Yeah, hell yeah. I mean, agendas are kind of cringe, right? It's
I mean, this Catholic, like being Catholic, people are like, "Yo, like you did it because you had like a really messy life and you needed rules or something." But like, I don't know, like people cannot be making their own new religions.
No,
and, like,
definitely not.
And like subcultures can become religions or companies.
Yeah,
and or both. I don't know. So
Yeah.
it's I don't know.
Interesting. Well, I like what you were saying before, Walter, about how it's like you guys are just doing your own thing, living, and you try to reflect that in what you create and what you put out into the world. And I feel like that if you can do that just like really radically, where you truly don't have an agenda and all you're really trying to do is like hang out with the people that you genuinely fuck with, be as creative as possible, and just basically like be cool in whatever direction you want to be cool in. That's kind of, to me, I think the essence of the current kind of post cringe moment. Because anyone who's like selling an agenda, anyone who's like pushing a kind of like planned project where they have some kind of like ulterior motive at all, that stuff kind of falls flat now, doesn't it? Is that
I just think like the best stuff happens. Also, like everything that was like successful, quote unquote, in my life, like even fashion stuff, like it literally just happened. Like I was just around and it happened.
Yeah, so tell us that story. Like, how did you blow up
We've
in
just
fashion?
been handed.
We've been handled by God.
I mean, we've been handed
I think like it's like you give it over to God, and that's when things worked out.
So are you telling me that chillin' is a trend in China?
Yeah, they have a slogan.
But they lie down on the streets. It's kind of like
they don't even lie down on the streets. It's like a lot of them just lie down in their beds.
These Chinese millennials are chilling, and Beijing isn't happy.
Yeah, and that just means sitting in public, like on the street.
It means like it's like playing game but chill.
Yeah.
So is it funny like planking? It's like a joke, or it's
I don't know. I thought
it's not like a die-in like they had in like this like the AIDS like crisis. Like they would go like somewhere and like lay down dead. And
AIDS is pretty bad.
I mean, it's over. Like
and it has been kind of cured.
It has been cured.
So Walter, can you tell me the story real quick of just how you blew up in fashion? I'm just interested to know how that played out.
Yeah, I like I like interned at Disc Magazine when I was like 15, and then I started working for Hood by Air, and then they asked me to do casting direction, and then I did, and then it just like one thing led to another.
Like Disc Magazine is like, now I realize that like every single thing like came from that. That was like
there was like a couple of years where like everyone that was doing anything like
I didn't know that like existed. I was just a kid.
So you're probably too modest to talk yourself up, but Honor, what would you say? What is it about Walter's essence or fashion sense that is like most signature, that was really, the thing that made him?
I mean, senior year of high school, I found out about Midland Agency through the Popular page, or was it Explore page by then?
Who is it?
His agency.
Like,
it's like fashion
director.
And
so I like choose models.
Gotcha.
But I do a lot of street casting, so it's like people that aren't like regular models.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I was just like, oh, what is this wacky face database? And then I just like made a ton of memes about it, and I like didn't really know who you were until later, but like it's been like a mind seed, like it's it's a cosmic connection. We've met each other probably his kids. No.
So is that how you found out about him?
Yeah.
And that's how you guys
And
met?
then I found out that it was like a
No,
dude
we
who
met
was like
on
my age.
online.
It was like a dude who was my age started that thing, which was wildly successful. Like,
But then I got obsessed with Honor like last year
Okay.
it's like
because I
Right.
said
I knew
last
this
night
origin story.
I was like, well, basically I was like so I like had never met a mind like that kind of like every other mind I felt like I could like understand kind of, but like Honor I was like I can't understand this at all. So I got like kind of obsessed with it, and then we like became friends
With her writing or what exactly?
No, just like
what? Like,
But
I don't
what
understand. Like, was
content
it
were
like
you
my
finding?
Instagram
Yeah.
or Twitter?
her Instagram, yeah, and like Twitter and writing and like, but just her brain also is like so fucking skitzed out.
I don't know. Like, it was. I don't understand like why. Like, our like origin story is mad confusing to me. It's kind of. It's like it's crazy.
It just works.
It's
When
crazy,
it
'cause
works, it
I-
works.
Yeah, that's what's up. That's cool. Are there
Yeah.
other details to the story that are interesting?
I think we did a Montez Press like the
Yeah, that's how
like,
we started WebBrain.
thing for Civilization, and like the next Civilization magazine, like Civilization, like
No.
Richard Turley, who did like the Bloomberg covers, and like
Okay.
he's responsible for he's like the Richard Turley is to graphic design what Walter is to casting.
Okay.
Like
You always
yeah,
made
it's
that.
a very good if you know who both of those people are.
Yeah.
You understand exactly like they were like cool kids who came in the 2010s when like cool was a thing, like when like Project X, like when cool was something that was like you could reach in a night and was epic. Like when like epic, like awesome, like things haven't been epic, awesome. 2012, like.
So
Like
it's
that-
cool is over.
No, I mean no, and now like it's just like now it's way more fun. Like I don't know, like you just were cool.
Mhm.
Okay,
And I
nice.
thought that was so cool.
And
you
so
were
that
cool.
was cool.
And so when did you guys get the idea to do the podcast?
Okay, so then
And-
we did Civilization, like magazine, like had a spot to do something. So then I like collected a bunch of people from Twitter and the internet's or like Ramelia Collective, which is like here at Urbit now. Like I collected like a bunch of stuff from them and like 4chan and just like weird copy pastas and creepy pastas. And then I was like, damn, like I can't go up there alone. Like who's like who would I most want to go there with
And
right now? Because who do I
almost
want to
said-
hang out
I
with?
almost said no.
Yeah.
But I said yes, and it was a good decision.
Yeah.
So you proposed a podcast to him?
No. And then we just went on the radio. We went on the radio and we just called people,
And we were a big hit.
hung out, and then yeah, it was mad fun.
It was mad fun.
And we were like, yo, like how can we like monetize now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like also like thought I was like I will never have a podcast. Like I will never have a podcast.
Why did you feel like that?
I don't know, just 'cause I was like I can't like
Because everyone and their
Like a-
mom is a podcast.
Yeah.
But our podcast is
Yeah.
kind of a little different, I think. It's like more like avant-garde.
Yeah.
or
it's like stream of consciousness.
It's similar to Barrett's in a way. It's similar to Contain in a way.
But
It's,
Barrett is
Barrett's
like
is like
much
a-
smarter. Like he is like real like hardcore interviews with like really smart people and stuff. And we just like
yeah, I mean Barrett like gets down like I mean I don't know, Barrett's like project is like a much more like there is like a
Yeah, like his
there's like
project-
it's like I mean there's a structure.
they're related
like,
though for sure. We're in like the same multiverse. or
The big
whatever.
eight.
what were your other influences for Wet Brain? Were there other projects that you were looking at and you're like, oh, that shit's hot. We can do something kind
Yeah,
of.
the original early Howard
yeah,
Stern.
early
'Cause I want
Howard
to do a prank
Stern.
call podcast, but there
Yeah.
are actually laws in New York like about prank calling
Really?
and like about recording people without their consent. But I wanted to like create a whack pack of just like
Which we kind of have. Like we
freaky-
have weird people that
freak-
that aren't
but then,
famous or
like,
anything
yeah.
that come on like all the time.
Right.
But I really like the dream for me, like when I first thought about like doing the Civilization thing, like I wish like people could just call me and like I had like a team to like censor the calls and like like
Yeah.
I just want like something
We
fun,
can do
like
a call-in
shock
show
jock
for,
radio. Like
like,
I think it was really cool. Yeah,
We'll do a call-in show for like a year.
And I want to play
person.
games like with the people, like do like a trivia, like how much do these people know about this thing? Like I just want to like play games with people over the phone.
Right. So, Honor, I know you have a background in writing. Maybe we
Yeah.
could talk a little bit about that. I'm curious kind of how you see the current landscape for writing, especially as it mixes in with things like podcasting in this
well,
new cultural
I
moment.
went to Bennington because I was like a huge fan of the John Mouse song. No, I mean that's a huge like Bret Easton Ellis, Donna Tartt, like a literati brat pack of that age, like back when like there was a ton of money to be giving to young people. And young people would like Spy magazine, like young people read and young people partied and young people wrote and read and partied, and there was no internet and like fictional characters were fictional characters and real people were real people. But now you can be like, you don't have to be like write a book like Bret Easton Ellis did. You can just have an Instagram and like live a life as your art. And I was like, oh, like damn, like that would be so cool and like so legendary to like become like go to New York like with a bunch of like I don't even know. I went to Bennington because of that, but I never studied creative writing or literature. I like just studied theater.
Nerd.
Right.
Yeah.
But then you did get into writing, right? You've been published in quite a lot of places.
I mean, it's like
they call her the voice of our generation. New York Times called her.
No shit.
I mean, I'm like a huge. There's like the theory online that it was on safety propaganda that I'm an industry plant, and I was like,
really?
I was like, yeah, like
why did
the
they
industry's
think
a guard, and
I
like
think that was a joke. Or...
No, it's not. It's a.
Why did they think you're an industry plant?
I mean, because just like, what are the most the Google?
It's so funny because
I saw on your phone, it was like a thing of like the suggested searches when you Google my name, and I saw
honor Levy parents.
It's honor Levy parents.
Yeah, but that's everyone because anyone that, like basically what they do is first they call you a fascist, and then they say you have rich parents, and then what's next?
I don't know, but
none. By the way, none of that even matters. Who cares?
Yeah,
I don't know.
I wish I had rich parents, and I don't wish I
have like we're like we didn't like have like grow up in like poverty.
I was fine,
which seems like a.
Yeah, but I don't
seems
get
like
it.
everyone else did.
If I grew up in poverty, like as all these people that like, well, my parents didn't have that much money by any means, but I definitely wasn't like, hungry.
Yeah.
But like if I was
hungry,
I mean,
did your parents work?
If I was, my dad's been unemployed for a while.
Yeah, I mean that's like the 2008 financial crisis. Unemployed dad.
If I was hungry when I was a kid, like would these people be fine with me? Is like that the concept? Like, it's just like these people don't like have actually stand for anything. Like that doesn't even make sense.
Right.
Like, what does that mean?
I don't know. There's a thing that I saw on Twitter. It's like oh, like the art world sucks because instead of like rich kids partying with poor like genius artists and giving them their money to just like party, hang out, and make art, like they want to be the artists.
Yeah, I saw that.
And I'm like, oh, dude, like I never like tried to be like I don't know. I wanted to be like a theater theorist. Like I wanted to like
You wanted to be a theorist?
Yeah, I mean, like that's what I.
Do you still?
No, I mean,
no.
The theory is like a
theory gives you brainworm.
Theory is like theory can't be written in like an academic way at all anymore. Like it has to be written like through new myths and like
do you read Angelicism?
Yeah, I know. I know who that is.
Angelicism also is like our link. He's our uncle or cousins.
We love.
I know him in real life. I won't blow him up.
I know we do too, but like
we don't talk about that. There is no real life.
That wasn't him. That was someone else.
Him. Yeah, that's somebody else.
I mean, it's like he also says like he's like I am not that anymore. Like it's actually very scary, and I think he needs to like.
Really?
Like, I mean, it's like
is Angelicism representing a genuine kind of schizophrenic break?
I know. I mean,
no, he's awesome.
Yeah, like, Angelicism just is like imagine if like the Warwick crew had just like stayed chill and
I see. Right. So you both immediately kind of said real serious theory can't be done in that way anymore. It's like it has to be this blend of it has to be this kind of world building.
Also, we
creative
both like
blend.
Became like you started reading theory after you got sober, and it did too. And I like after like I like had some like acid I was an acid casualty, and then like I started reading like Deleuze, like to talk about Deleuze. Like I read that and I was like, oh no. Like I just was crazy.
And what did you learn from Deleuze? Crazy. What was the main lesson you took from Deleuze?
I learned like you can just be writing. Like you can make it like you make a metaphor and the metaphor makes itself. And that's like but then I learned that the Bible is not a metaphor. Like there are demons, there are angels, there was Sodom and Gomorrah was blown up. Like things are not metaphors in the Bible. Like we are the metaphor of that.
Nice. Yeah.
And like I just randomly started believing in like everything. So, everything is real. Like also like is like a
I know that you do still maintain a Substack. So for you, what does writing mean for you now? Like how
my Substack is not like my Substack was like only like
I think
inspired,
I maintain a Substack more than you at this point.
Yeah, I have just extensive drafts in my Substack that I never post because like Substack like became like a place for a second. There's a 4chan lit thread on it. It's like where have all the subcultures gone? Like where's all like the cultural output of subculture gone? Like writing, like not just like images and stuff. And they're like, oh, here it is. And they're like, yo, like this is astroturfed AF. Like this is like a fake thing. And I'm like, how is it? No, like our like Substack, like schizoid Substack thing.
Really?
Except it was, I guess it's just like experimental theory poetry.
Yeah, that's a fair way to summarize
It's
it.
like the pool boyism, Paul from Bible,
Pool Boy
angelicism.
just quoted my Substack on this
Mhm.
massive
Yeah.
post I'm reading now.
Yeah, I mean, going through a pool boyism. Do you know pool boyism?
No.
One of the greatest philosophers of our time.
Really? Explain it to me.
It's like I would call him like a student of angelicism, like in the same school.
So is
Yeah.
angelicism kind of like the grandfather of this kind of schizoid Substack world?
Sort of.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Okay.
he
And so
said
what is pool boyism exactly?
pool boyism, like technically, what does he call himself? Like he's like wants to be like a what is the thing, like the Bilderberg group like goes to like psychic, like cultural psychics to like figure out what's going on, like not like K-hole, but
He
like
knows his shit though. He's like insanely well read.
Really?
yeah. And
All right,
also
I'll check that out.
I have this theory that like a ton of people who seem really well read just have read the like quotes from different things, and I think like that's fair. Like I've done that for theory. Like I haven't finished 1,000 plateaus. Like there's
Yeah.
1,000.
It's
like,
hard. Yeah.
But I don't know. You don't have to really like read Deleuze to be base Deleuze. Because I also don't know what base Deleuze is besides from one meme, and then like besides I don't know like
Oh, well.
what is like how did base Deleuze like
Thanks for the
What,
shout
like,
out. I appreciate it. I mean, the whole thesis for Base Deleuze was basically just that there are these strange kind of crypto-fascist strains in Deleuze, basically.
Mhm.
And I don't think he was a fascist at all. But for instance, his parents were basically fascists. They were French fascists.
Mhm.
They literally voted for the far right-wing party. And we know that political ideology is somewhat heritable. So
Mhm.
I just kind of compile a bunch of interesting observations in that direction. And then I just basically make the case that he doesn't really map onto the left or the right.
well
He's
yeah.
kind of this he's kind of this schizoid
But that's like
combination.
most people
But like,
interesting.
what's that
Exactly,
like
exactly.
very famous like quote like about what he did to philosophy? Like he like fictionalized. He like his philosophy was like fan fiction of philosophy.
It was a huge emphasis on creativity and novelty,
Mhm.
and he really, really stressed the right of the philosopher to create, to invent,
Yeah.
and that it wasn't this kind of allegiance to that which exists, but that there is a kind of primordial right that the philosopher has always enjoyed to invent new things. And I
Yeah.
think that's why he's very popular in certain circles today. Like in your kind of circles, people will talk a lot about Deleuze because he does give a kind of philosophical license for this kind of schizoid poetic
Mhm.
format for philosophical thinking. Are there
Yeah.
any serious theorists right now that you are interested in that
I mean,
are
like,
cool?
I don't.
I don't know,
I
like,
stopped
Pool
reading
boyism
theory.
is a serious theorist.
Okay.
I think theory gives you actual brain worms.
I
I,
think-
only read fiction now,
Okay.
and I like process my worldview through fiction.
Interesting. And how do you think about writing in your own like creative repertoire? Like, does writing complement the podcast? Is it separate projects? Are they all the
It's
same?
all the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, my Substack, like, it was just like I started it to be like silly to post whatever I wanted. Like,
I
I
write,
shouldn't
like,
have put my
kind of-
own name on it.
I kind of write like I don't know. What do you think? It's like
I don't know, it's like a
personal
beautiful
essays.
diary, beautiful boy diary.
yeah,
It's
it's
like
like a boy diary.
it's
Were
like-
you guys surprised by the success of the podcast? Did that
What?
take you by
I
surprise,
don't
or
know,
were
like,
you
is it
expecting?
success? Like this is like in the second episode of Wet Brain Ever, I was like, I want like conventions to start like again because I can't go to parties anymore because of I don't know, like I can't, like I'm whatever, like anti-degeneracy. I just like
Right.
I can't go to parties like I used to, and like
You're
that's like my
you're trap
job.
calf now.
I mean, yeah, I guess. But you also know that like the Catholic Church is not the
Don't
Catholic
shake
Church.
this too much, it'll
Sorry,
make some
it's like
background.
there's
There
a
you go.
whole thing. It's
Yeah,
like it's just
yeah.
so I don't want to have to think.
But the
about
podcast
that,
has
but
been
you
very
do.
successful. You guys get a lot of downloads. Definitely hear a lot of people talking about it. And I'm just curious, were you expecting that, or was that a surprise to you? Is it better than you
No,
no,
thought?
yeah,
it
I
would
was
be?
expecting it.
I like.
Oh, I know. I think we know what we're doing.
Yeah,
I
right on.
don't. I like.
You were more surprised?
No, I'm not. Like I mean, now you're telling me that it's successful. It's like to me, like success. I don't.
I
Like,
think
I
we
don't have
could-
any. Like I don't like know what success is at all because I think like I don't know what I want at all from anything.
Okay, fair enough.
Like besides to have a baby and have a husband and have a house and also just make things all the time.
What other philosophers
So,
do you take seriously that you think are important or interesting that you've learned from or been influenced by? We were talking a little bit before about Simone Weil.
mhm.
Apparently, Simone Weil is going through a kind of revivalism at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, she's very
You told me
aesthetically, like-
she's very fashionable in New York City now.
very fashionable everywhere. I think just because I don't know, like her idea of like prayer, like attention is prayer, and like it's just I don't know, like,
Right.
like
How do you two think about the kind of last generation of the kind of New York City alt people like whatever Tao Lin and like the Caroline
Mhm.
Calloway, like that generation.
That's
Like,
not,
what do you make of
Caroline
those
just,
people?
like-
Calloway is not. I mean, whatever.
I mean,
I'm
they're
not
just
gonna-
like a
Caroline Calloway's just a girl. Like,
no, Caroline Calloway is she's like a what I don't even like whatever. There's
But she
tons of
represents
Marxist
us-
theory on
Yeah.
what she is. She's like a tulpa. Like she is everything about capitalism into an
Yeah.
influencer who's aware of it. It's like there's like mad. There's too much
Right.
critical
it
theory
doesn't
about
matter
her.
if you're aware.
It doesn't matter. Like you
Okay.
don't have like.
So
It's very cool that like her like that her brand is her brand, but like I'm like I don't need to like have like a
All right, so
rip
she's
on-
Our
irrelevant.
brand is our brand, and we don't act like
No.
that. That's all I'm.
Okay.
No, because she wants to be like her. Like she's like I don't know. We had an amazing dinner where like we sat down and talked about how like when we were kids, like we wanted to be like in history, like, and she's like, and now she's doing whatever she can take, like whatever it takes to do that. But I like realized that
OnlyFans.
like history is like. There's many if people can get memory hold like most of
many
history.
demons.
I mean, like history is.
I love Talin though.
You like Tao Lin?
Mhm.
Yeah, Taipei is an amazing book.
Yeah, I
Leave
never read
Society is
Talon, but
pretty
like I
well.
always knew who. When I was a kid, I was like, oh, I bought all my friends shoplifting from American Apparel because I was like, I want you all to like read this book because it seems like something that cool people on Tumblr like, who are like creating
it's a good
their own like
book, too.
drama in their like world. I mean, like
Yeah.
HTML giant. I had no idea who any of these people were. I only like ever read like a little bit of their thing, but they were writing just tabloid gossip about each other, which is like the beatniks like had like at least like people writing about
It is kind
them
of like
and,
proto post cringe in a way. Tao Lin, they kind of did have that vibe of kind of like, don't be too serious, just have fun with your friends. And it was also a little bit of blending like fact and fiction, self-referential, kind
Yeah.
of making your life a bit of the
I
story.
mean, autofiction.
You guys are kind of just like the radicalization of that. Is that a fair way? Do you see that lineage, or am I reading
I
too
mean,
much
like
into it?
autofiction as like a literary thing instead of like everything,
Lifestyle,
like
yeah.
instead of a lifestyle. It was like it was in the book,
Right.
and the book was in you instead of like now like you are the book and you write it all the time. Like you are your brand. Like Caroline Calloway, like it doesn't matter if the book never comes out because the book's been coming out for 10 years now. Like she is, like
Right.
her life is her art,
Right.
and that's and that must be a crazy way to live.
Do you think about writing more, or are you overwriting?
No, I write all the time. I
You
just
do?
never
Oh,
publish
you
it
just don't publish.
because I don't gain anything from publishing it
She
unless
has
like
a book coming
unless-
out and some stories.
I mean, I don't know, everything just like once it's written down, it feels done. But I feel like it's fun to share because then you reference each other. Like I don't know, like I don't know, I got confidence issues.
Yeah, I hear that. Fair enough.
Because if you
That's
really
very
fall into like the, I have these words, like I think like words have so much power.
Totally.
And there's so much. There's just too much. There's too much stuff.
Are you
Already,
are
I
you
don't
into
know.
religion at all, or no?
Yeah.
What's your angle? What's your angle?
I don't know. It's like my parents were like smug atheists, you
Yeah,
know.
mine too.
So it's like a much more recent thing.
Right.
I'm like exploring Christianity. I'm not going to expand too much further on
Sure,
that.
fair
yeah,
enough.
and people are like, yo, like it was so crazy. Like when you like started go, I went on like Ion Pod and it was like the very wrong audience to just talk. I thought it
Oh,
was
really? So
like.
their audience was not
Like,
expecting
like,
your
they were like, no,
energy.
they were like, oh, like, how dare you? Like there's been centuries of debate on religion. Like, how dare you come in there and just declare these things? And I was like, dude, like, I thought we were all like playing around. So, like,
Really? So
I thought we were all performing on podcasts. I didn't realize we were.
So they're like a kind of more older and serious kind of, and they
I don't
weren't
know who their
expecting your.
audience is, but I'm really sorry if there's any crossover.
What are those
but,
people like? Are they like more my age, my generation, or what?
I don't know. I think they're like just millennials who miss like there's no public intellectual for millennials, which is really sad.
There's no public
There's no
intellectuals
like
for
there was
millennials.
no
What do you
public
mean?
like
Like
public
millennials are
intellectuals all
retarded.
died before millennials. Like the anti-intellectualism that millennials like had like indoctrinated into them. Like, it's very
Interesting.
tragic. Like I think like they. I don't know.
Yeah.
Millennials like are chopped.
They're mad
It's
chopped.
crazy. It must be so painful to be a millennial.
It's hard at times. What's your diagnosis of the millennial problem? Like, what's the core of the millennials issue?
Liberalism.
No, just like you guys had no you guys didn't have a culture war as strong as we did or a real
Yeah,
war.
You just like settled
or a
into
real
a
war.
comfortable like being
Um,
like a weird it's like what I was before. It's like you're just comfortable being like a vague like
I don't know. I really
That's
don't know.
That's
I
interesting.
really don't know.
I mean, I'm not
but-
offended by that at all,
No,
but
it's
I mean,
not.
I
It's like
think it's what's interesting though is that the millennials did have it pretty hard. So like we were kind of the first generation where like people just stopped getting married. People stop being able to buy houses.
Yeah.
So like millennials have had it pretty rough.
I mean,
in
you're
a way.
like,
Yeah,
it's
but
like,
you
it's
also
like
invented the ideology that like that is like no one
no,
needs to get
millennials
married.
like got psyop.
Yeah.
Got so hard. Like
Yeah, they got
they like
psyop.
they
But
got
a lot of
psyop
that-
so hard.
they're
Like
actually-
Occupy
Yeah.
Wall Street. Like
They're psyop
like-
victims.
like-
That's really true.
like Occupy Wall Street. Like that. Like I don't know. Like May 1968 and like the trauma that came after that. Like the
I'm
worst,
26,
worst.
by the way. I'm like on the cusp.
Yeah, you're like a young millennial almost. Well, the thing
Yeah.
is, all of the kind of ideology that comes out of the millennials around how, marriage is bad and, permanency is bad, commitment is bad. A lot of that is just kind of
How?
cope. It's cope for
Yeah.
structural conditions.
Yeah, and it's just
that are-
brainwashing. Like this, I saw this tweet the other day. It's like this like some live on Twitter was like, girls need to know that they don't need to get married and have children anymore. Like I never see this. Like I'm gonna make sure that more girls see this. That's
Our
all
Uber driver
girls.
last
That's
night.
all girls here.
Yeah, our Uber
That's
driver
all
last
they
night
hear.
said that
There's
he didn't
no-
want to have children.
Girls never hear that they can get married.
Yeah,
Yeah,
It's-
but now every cool Gen Z chick I meet, like you, wants to get married.
Yeah,
That's like the
of
norm
course.
now.
Because marriage is sacred and beautiful. And it's
Yeah.
like retarded to pretend otherwise and cope. As
Right. So
yeah.
Gen Z
Yeah.
people, the cool Gen Z people get this and know this now. It's like very common to hear this now. The millennials really were psyoped in a way. You're right. That's a good way to put it.
Mhm.
But in a way, they were
like-
fucked harder because of that. They genuinely kind of believed, I
It's
don't
like-
need to get married. I don't need to do these
Our
things.
Uber driver, he's like, oh, like I'm not gonna have children because I can't imagine a future for them. And I'm like, dude, like
That
you
guy
need
also
to
had
imagine,
Pokemon,
like,
but
it's like-
that
it's
guy
like-
also had Pokemon all over his car.
yeah. But
Also,
but,
you have kids so the kids can make the future.
yeah,
You know,
no,
it's
and
like you don't have to believe in the
make
future. to happen.
Like the best thing, I think the most moral thing you can do is have a kid and raise them with like love, like I don't know, like the love
Hell yeah.
of language. Like a couple speaks to each other. Like my boyfriend and I like is like Chinese and like ancient Greek. Like we don't like feel loved by each other at all, but we know we love each other. It's like it's really weird. And like I know like whatever our kid, if we can make a language, if we can like make a new, because like I just learned about how bootstrapping works. Like when you you make a form of code out of another, like it's like a very direct, like
very
obviously it happens
cybernetic,
over
very
centuries.
Deleuzian.
Yeah, happens over centuries in like real language, which like
If he likes to
But-
lose, he's been ran through. That's what Vita said.
what?
Yeah, that's what
Who said that?
If you like Deleuze, you've been ran through.
Yeah, like
That's
ran
what
through.
Vita said yesterday.
But like the like yeah, like that like boots like that is just everything. We're just everything is translation, and like why can't we translate like love? Like I don't know. Like we believe
all
in
I
love,
care about
like,
is love. That's all I write about. That's all
I mean,
any
it's,
of my visual stuff is based on that. It's like really all I think that matters.
a beautiful thing.
And I
It's
mean
very
that's why
Christian.
like Catholicism is like such
Yeah.
like a hip aesthetic, which I'm like, yo, like the demons, like demons go to the next level every single generation. Like they're the ultimate like not artists, but like evil artists, like like fairies, like fairy tales, like were just a way to cope with like like just events you couldn't comprehend, like I don't know, baby death, like people disappearing, like and it was like fairy culture and like elves and it was like that was like the way, the worldview of it. And then science fiction came along, like because demons literally were like, we need to write a new narrative so that people don't realize we exist. And like that's the way demons work. Like in the old days, if you saw someone levitating or like something being weird, you'd be like, oh no, like it's a demon, I'm so scared. But now, like you're not scared anymore.
Wow.
And I think like I'm so afraid. I live in like a state of fear.
You are afraid
I am so afraid.
of
And
what?
I wasn't afraid as a kid at all. I was
What are
like,
you afraid of? What do you say?
everything. Like I'm afraid
you
of doing anything.
Like you feel like the world is getting worse, something bad is going to happen
No.
in the world level or at the personal
But also
level.
like we like I don't know, being afraid is fun. And it's like I think maybe I'm afraid of not being afraid.
So it's like aesthetic. It's like
And
it
like-
gives your story something to deal with. Or
I mean, it is
Yeah.
quite scary out there.
Yeah. And
the
like
world at large, you mean?
and like
Or
millennials,
what?
Yeah.
got so scared.
Like we're in end times.
We
Is that how
are-
it feels to you guys?
I mean, like
That's
okay,
how it is.
You know, like,
Yeah.
like it's Saint
Yeah.
Saint Malachi's prophecy, and like this is even this pope has said, "I am not a pope." It's like this is the last pope. There will be either like a meteor striking the Vatican, or like there is like a cataclysmic event about to happen, like Project Bluebeam, like fake aliens,
Interesting.
Age
That's
of
what Sam
Aquarius,
Frank was
like
just
Sam Frank, yeah, because
saying.
he asked us what we thought about like Starseed Theory, which is like a new, it's like, you know, like whatever postmodern religion, like new worldview thing, that like narrative that we all come from different
Watch out.
galaxies.
Sorry. So you guys deeply
Different galaxies, and we chose to
Right.
be on Earth because Earth is like a planet, a rare planet where a whole vibe shift, a mass awakening is happening.
Hmm.
And like, I don't know if it's a mass awakening. It might just be like we're in end, like yeah, like it's
right, but the end times in the Christian prophecy, it's both good and bad in a way,
Mhm,
right?
mhm.
There's bad shit that happens, but there's for a certain a select number of people, it is an awakening.
Yeah,
It's
like
it's a good thing.
apocalypse is just like apocalypse. Doesn't it just mean like a reveal? Like
that's right. That's
like everything's
absolutely
about
right.
to be revealed.
That's literally the etymology of what it means.
And
That's right.
yeah, and I think like
So it's not
in
all bad.
creating new little worlds, like we are revealing what the world is. Like like when a kid makes like what is it called, paroxysm. Like a very extensive fantasy world with lore and its own philosophies, its own wars, its own history,
Okay.
like Gondal or like
Interesting.
it used to be a very common thing that kids did. Like my roommate, Patrick, Writer's Life Tips, probably the greatest he's the first Gen Z novelist of our times. Like as a kid, he had like, journals and journals of like history of the civilization that was his, and that was like a very common thing that kids would do. And now they don't do that anymore because we can't, like, the way to share like our inner selves are to like make little worlds that we can like walk through, and like that's not a thing that millennials have.
Yeah, I mean, I share your sense of the apocalyptic. I completely agree that something like that is in the air right now. But I feel much more optimistic about it. To me, it feels really good.
It does feel really good. It feels really good.
That's
It feels
where like
good.
some of the freeing stuff that I was talking about before comes on from me.
Yeah.
Like, so what? Like, you know.
I mean, like Alex Jones is like enjoy these last few like days before like it is happening. Like what did Sam Frank said? Shit, what's the abbreviation? Like it is like things are about to like really change.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Like I think we should just be on doing our bucket list activities
now. Hell yeah! And maybe we'll kind of finish this by circling back to the Web3 stuff a little bit.
Just getting started.
I mean, I got nothing but time if you want to keep going.
Yeah, I mean,
but
like,
I
don't want to go back.
She doesn't know how. She has like a weird like. She can't start things and she can't end things. Like that's why I have to do
but like
it.
no, like we're having a conversation and I don't want to go back to that other place. And like,
but it's like we'll be on the phone for some
like,
45 minutes and we said it was a 10-minute call.
It's just getting started.
Say,
like we're just
once
getting
you're in the
something. I haven't
groove.
even said something interesting yet, and I know. Like when you're having a conversation, Adam Lerner just came out with this thing like the art of conversation is dead, and I'm like no.
Right.
No.
Yeah.
no.
Once you get going, it's easy to keep going.
It just takes a really long time. Like, what is it? Like, freaking, like, whatever. Look, we learned about less wrong recently.
Oh, yeah, the rationalist shit.
What? Like that?
Bunch of queers.
They were. Yeah. I mean, like, I didn't realize that, like, there was a real movement that was, less queer. Less
cringe.
Less wrong, like, is, like, the, like, millennial, like, it's, like, if you make, like the myth out of like what like a millennial is and
right.
the millennial is that like damn like
yeah, a lot of people would put my stuff kind of adjacent to rationalism, but I'm kind of what you would more call like post-rationalist, like people who are kind of like brainy and nerdy and kind of interested in like theory and rationality and shit, but basically decide to give up decide that rationalism is cringe basically and move on to other things. Like
but what do you like teach in school, like philosophy or
I taught political theory, political science. Yeah.
Wow.
That was my background. Yeah.
Wow. I mean, I really would love to become like, I mean, like the real art is done by like lobbyists and like whatever, like CIA. We tried to get CIA funding, but that's not a thing anymore. Like, and people talk about like teal funding, but like, no, like just making like, I don't know, like changing thought through like, I don't know, like through like whatever. I just like, I don't want to be psyoped. I want to psyop. But also, I want to be psyoped. I don't know.
We are. It's impossible not to get psyoped.
I feel like I'm unpsyoped now that I'm Catholic, and so there is one truth. There is one truth.
Yeah, but you get psyoped by like different things every day.
Is it relaxing to be unpsyoped, or is it stressful to be unpsyoped?
Everything is stressful, but that's just fun.
Because you could argue that being psyoped is kind of like the maximum state of comfort, right? It's like it gives you a shell to kind of live in, or you could see being unpsyoped as being, you could see it as either liberation or oppression, basically. How do you see it?
Like teaching political science, like in the time like pre like CRT or like mass like a reevaluation of the way we teach it, like what, like you're the reason that people decided to change that, like CRT is like the craziest new narrative, like it's like they made a freaking new thing. They did it with gender theory, like Judith, like they made up a new school of thought that impacted politics, that killed people, that made new people. Like
CRT, you're talking about?
CRT is the craziest thing that I can like a complete reevaluation.
Critical race theory was a gradual evolution. I don't think it was like
really
a very concerted psyop. It didn't become a psyop, but it was an evolved, emergent psyop, I think.
I mean, that's just any philosophy.
You said that you tried to get money from the CIA. Like, how did you try to do that?
I just like I looked into.
We would happily take it.
Yeah,
I know. I looked into like the history of like
CIA.
how CIA
I actually
funded.
don't know. CIA is one.
like I take Teal money in 2 seconds, but the CIA is pretty fucked up.
I mean,
Yeah,
the CIA is just
definitely.
like CIA is like the greatest art collective of like. It's my favorite art collective because like they made things. They were just like, let's go and make things happen. Like let's make theater. Like in any country they went and they would do crazy things. Like they were like, I don't know, like they're like everyone's Vladislav's circle of this, Vladislav's circle of this, and I'm like, yo, like just CIA.
Fascinating. I've never heard of the CIA referred to as an art collective, but
Yeah.
it is kind of like dramatic, like extremely
Yeah.
dramatic performance
I mean,
art.
they would write like fan fiction, like or it was the FBI, like whatever, Martin Luther King's like suicide note, like that was a fanfic. But fanfic is mad powerful. It's how I met my boyfriend. He wrote like a dog whistle filled because he read my story, which was like about dogs, and he wrote something that had every word was a dog whistle, but it was about somebody like trying to date me, and I was like, whoa.
So I don't want to keep you guys too long.
No, I mean, I'm not going back there.
The couple last questions I wanted to ask you about just have to do with this Web3 stuff. Like, do you connect the blockchain to this apocalypticism? Like, do you see that as a kind of sign of the end times?
No, it's
these
a
like revolutionary
revelation.
technologies.
Well, I think it's like there's a lot of fear, and I think there's a lot of paranoia and like fear in this, a lot of this stuff.
I mean, I didn't realize that people didn't support. I thought everyone was like, I thought everyone in America was super into cryptocurrency. I didn't know that it was like a thing that
It's
like
still a minority thing.
that's a thing that's actually got like, I don't know, like Wyoming.
There's going to be
like
major political
DAO.
antagonisms, like because it's really threatening to overhaul a lot of old traditional power centers, and they're going to not give up that power easily.
Yeah, and I think we like it seems like like whatever, like something was inevitably inevitable, and this is it. Like it wasn't communism, and it wasn't any ideology. It was just a new tool.
Do you believe?
It wasn't a new,
Walter, you were saying before that Web 2 was cool. Web 3 is just going to be a bit better. But do you think that do you see any possibility that Web 3 really fundamentally kind of liberates artists or anything like that, or is that kind of hype?
Time will tell.
It's real. It's
you
real.
think it's real?
It's real.
You're
It's
skeptical,
you're
Walter.
A psyop from Urbit.
No, it's not a psyop. I just
That's exactly what a psyop is.
No, to believe in something.
You said you would die for Urbit.
No, I would give. I would.
You didn't know what it was.
No, to create a new. To create nothing.
Conferences are kind of psyops. Conferences are basically cult building exercises.
Yeah, that's why I want to go to.
I love Galen, but like when I saw him up there today, I was like, damn, like he's a little bit culty up there. Like,
I know it is. Well, and the idea that cults are bad is like a very new thing. Like a.
No, it's not. They've always been considered pretty bad.
It's since when?
Like all the cults I can think of that there was some murder.
I don't know, but cults used to not like
a lot of premarital, disgusting polygamy and murder.
There was a lot, and like you go back to like ancient times, like there was a cult for each god, and a cult was like the original subculture. Like there was like the cult of like like some like moon Artemis, and they lived in the same temple, they dressed the same, they worshiped the same god, they had ritual parties that everybody would come to. Like they were that branch of like they were like the lesbian like feminism ones, and then there was like the ones who partied, and then there was the ones who like whipped themselves. It's like. That was a very basic subculture, like where deities, like it was like personification. Like we can't have like personification doesn't work anymore. Even though my favorite fan fiction is like personification, like it's about different apps. It's like the apps in high school, or like Hegelian. It's like if each country in World War II was a person, and they're all like you can't think of things on you can't try to make ideas into people anymore. It's just like
I think the liberating artist stuff.
Other.
It's like they'll. It's nice that there's a space, right?
But it's not even like a space. It is a tool. It's a space. It will like that. Like
it's nice
you will not notice that it exists.
It's nice that the tool is available. I think whether or not it's really like about the right people using it for the right reasons, and
but
like,
it is built so only the right people will use it.
That's something that only time will tell. I think.
Fair enough. And what about things like NFTs? A lot of artists are kind of hyping this stuff up. Do you think it's real and interesting, or it's hype and fake, or what?
It's like I don't know. I think there's like parts of it that are cool. Like I'm actually really fascinated by the ownership aspect, which I think is fun. I was having a talk about this in our Discord the other day. Like a lot of people, like the first thing they say about NFTs is they're like, you can just right click and save it. But like to me, that's like a fundamental misunderstanding of what like ownership means in in this way. Like, for example, if I had like whatever Nan Golden photograph saved on my phone and I said I own this photo, like everyone would explain to me that that's not the case, you know? And it's like that's the same thing with NFTs, which I think is mostly cope. And also I think more than anything, it's people not wanting to actually understand what ownership is because it's kind of like annoying and cringe. Like
That's also because it's so like we're
it's
like
really
like
cynical.
Steve Bannon has like that we are like a serf, like we are like a serfdom.
Like being
But we're not
obsessed with like
anymore.
owning things is really like kind of dark, and I think that's more so why like people don't want to like like they'd rather not understand owning an NFT and say you can just save it because they don't actually want to examine what it means to like own something on like a more philosophical level.
Right.
Because
But that
ownership
being
is
said, like
good.
most
It's a good
NFTs are
thing.
not cool. Like it's like that's just the fact of it. Like but you know most art is not cool either. So I don't know. But I don't know. There's like hardly any. I don't really know any. Like my ladies are cute, but
Yeah, I don't know, like the like it's like whatever, like art is a money laundering thing, and that's why it's so cool. Like it's like art. It's like art is a tool, and the art market is a tool, but now everybody can use it. It's like I don't know.
Yeah.
I really can't think about money, and like I don't like want to like I want to start wanting to acquire wealth, but I'm like it's like I don't know, like I've touched a Picasso like with greasy fingers because someone whose parents and grandparents and somebody, it's like I don't know, when you touch a Picasso, I don't know why I didn't think of blockchain, or like I think like ownership is very good. It's a very good thing to own something.
Yeah.
It's hard to own something.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I don't know. Like
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
didn't
but,
even
like-
know NFTs like existed. I was like, oh, like it would be cool if like you buy a meme. I was like, what does that mean? It's just
it's
just-
like okay.
it's
Here's an example.
provenance.
Here's an
It's like,
example.
Right.
Like, my dad's really into NFTs. It's like
He
one
is?
of it. It's one of his like unemployment things.
Damn.
He doesn't like buy them or anything,
that
but he's
sounds
very
cool.
like fascinated by them. And I think he wants to like start a blog for. I don't know. I don't understand. But long story short, he like thinks he's actually the one that like sold me on the ownership thing, like thinking it was interesting. But he like thinks it's good, and I think it's like I don't know if I think it's good, you know.
Yeah.
But like an example is like the NBA sells like classic like parts from games. So let's say like LeBron had a dunk that won, you know, the game in some historic championship or
like
something.
a video.
No, you own the moment itself.
Wow.
Right. It's
You
NBA
don't.
Top
It's
Shots.
not. Yeah, but it's not that you own a video. It's not that you own a picture. You own that moment.
I'm changing
But-
my mind. NFTs are satanic.
But that's the thing. And so what I said to my dad is I was like, what if me and you, when I was growing up, were sitting on the couch and watched that game together and had a beautiful moment together, you know? And then like you're saying now, like,
Well,
what someone owns
You can
that?
sell
I don't
it.
understand
Yeah,
like what
It's
yeah.
like
the
that
like
is a very perverse
how
idea
that
of
lives
what
on an-
ownership is,
how-
and
and
like
that-
that's what most NFTs are. Like the idea that you can own like a lot of the stuff that isn't really ownable, but I think that's
Right.
true with like a lot of society. Obviously, like a lot of stuff you really.
but also it
shouldn't
gets
really
rid
be
of
able to
stuff. If you have a
own.
diamond and then you make it an NFT, like you don't need the diamond anymore. Like it's
Mm.
just like it's full like. But it is
Mm.
like Matthew after the Tao talk, which I like thought was so amazing and beautiful and like just like inspiring. He sent me this quote, which I thought it wasn't related, but now that you said
Mm.
your blockchain thing is, and the devil took Luke 4:5-6, and the devil took him up and showed him all the kingdoms of the world in a moment of time, and said to him, to you, I will give all this authority and their glory, for it has been delivered to me, and I will give it to whom I will.
Well, that's a temptation, right?
I mean, no, it's like I don't
mean,
think
it is
like,
literally.
it might just be that the devil said that because he wants to trick us that owning things is bad. It's like I don't know. Like the thing is, demons and trolls, like trolls are like the only thing that can beat demons.
I don't know. I don't.
An angel troll is like a whole like thing. Like the new trolls are angels now.
Anti-communism Catholic stuff is cope.
Anti-communist Catholic thought is
Well,
Cope,
it's
or what
not-
were you
I
saying?
don't
Which
even
also
really
like
need
there's
to
a
get
great
into it.
history of Catholic socialism that you're gonna love. You're
No,
gonna
I've
love
read
it.
some too. It's just like no, I don't. It's not even worth getting into. There's just like there's a level of like I think it's probably more among like. Well, I think there's also a while where most Catholics in America, particularly, were like conservatives.
No, I mean Catholicism is about
Mhm.
saying that you are nothing. Like you, like only the collective can be something. You yourself are nothing. Like and your soul doesn't matter. And like that is like that.
But what? So capitalism is
damnation
fine
on
with that?
earth
there
and-
are right wing
capitalism
versions
is-
of Catholicism and
Mhm.
left wing versions of Catholicism. In Europe, it's called.
I don't think it should have to do with any like at all. Like the
Yeah.
idea that faith is like left wing or right wing makes you want to like throw up.
I agree with that. I
Yeah.
like that too. That's how I tend to think about
Yeah,
it.
I mean, like left wing, right wing. Like since when? Like
We're very
like
we're
I'm like
non-binary.
we're
We don't do-
Zoomers. Like
we
since
don't
when
do-
is like
we don't do
yeah.
left wing, we don't do right wing, we don't do ironic, we don't do serious, we don't do cringe, we don't do post cringe. We're post everything.
I mean, it would just be nice to make a couple
I
new
said-
words for each thing and then get rid of them and make new ones. And then,
we're post everything and post everything.
Hmm.
yeah. But then I don't understand like
get it? 'Cause we
programming,
post everything too.
programming all of
okay.
our programming these ideas, like into a thing that will make things work. Like nothing's ever going to work, and like the only way to like solve like the mutually assured destruction is like you need to be a madman. Like because like the what is it like unpredictability is the only thing that will save us from
Nice.
like death.
I
like
love it.
everything,
I love it.
like, the
That's
end of the
You
world.
think
That's beautiful.
I
You
don't know,
nearly
you know,
adopted the darkness.
Well, I think that's as good a place to end it as
Yeah.
any. Thank you so much for
Yeah.
coming on, guys.
No,
This
now I'm mad
Yeah,
curious
yeah.
about mad more things
is
now.
genuinely really fun. Well, we'll
Yeah.
keep talking.
I think I'm unerbit pilled now.
Well, you're on Urbit pill.
I
No,
think I'm just
Urbit's
going.
mad
No, just
cool.
kidding. No, just kidding. That would be funny.
Well,
Like,
we'll talk
it's just
more. We'll talk more.
about balance on it. You need to learn some balance in your life. It's like
no, I like if I learn balance, like
you need
it could be the end of everything.
This is really fun. I really appreciate you're giving me the time, and yeah, people should go check out
Thank you for
Wetbrain
having us. Yeah, please.
podcast.
Patreon.com/wetbrain.
Boom.
Yeah.
I'll put the link in the
Maybe
show
we're
notes.
getting our own thing soon, like you, mad brave.
Hell
mad
yeah.
dope
I'll put
content.
the link in the
Yeah.
show notes. People should go check you guys out. Yeah, like I said, I only listened to a little bit, but it was really fun talking with you guys, and you guys are fucking cool. So this
Yeah,
is fun. I
you're cool
appreciate
too, man. Thanks for
appreciate
having
it.
Yeah,
us
no, you're
on.
like
Yeah.
I
It's
did
like
not
a
even
mad-
understand that you were a real person. Like I knew about like all your
One
projects, and I
time
thought
we
they
were
were just like
one
a,
time we were looking through your
I thought you
guest
were, like,
list,
just some
and she's like,
easy-
"But he's a serious podcaster."
Well, no, because I see the
Because like we're
guest.
not serious.
Well, he's a professor.
No,
I have
I
some
wasn't.
serious podcasts.
He writes like studies.
Dude,
He
the
and
honest-
Nick Landon.
What?
He and Nick Landon.
Yeah.
No one even knows where that guy is half the time.
The honest truth is I do some serious podcasts and I do some serious writing, but I would love to have more people like you all. Like you,
Good luck.
You're a big part of like half of me is you guys. Like people like Barrett and you guys, like that's who I actually hang out with and like spending time with and talking with. That's a big part of me. It's just hard to find people who are cool like you
Dime a
guys,
dozen,
honestly.
baby.
So yeah.
If there's
Yeah.
too many of us, then it'd be boring.
Hell yeah. So,
I mean, also like it's not interesting to be like it's not like you can't emerge as a leader and still like be like you can't be interesting.
there's something. Yeah,
there's
I know
something-
what you mean. I know what you mean.
And we so easily, could be at the top of our industry. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. No,
Well, I think
no. I
Which
mean,
industry?
because
You,
we're
but
like
you are the top. They call you the voice of a generation.
that's just a meme thing.
But everything's just a meme. Like if
Yeah, I
if the
mean,
New
yeah.
York Times says it, then is it true or not?
well, I think you guys are at the top of something. I think time will
Mhm.
tell what it is, though. And I think
Crypto
that's-
no,
fascism.
we're at the top of the moment, and we're at the most like.
That's a
people
good
are
place
people
to
are
be.
like, why are you so dramatic? Like, why are you crying? Why are you screaming? And I'm like, I just want to live at the top of my emotions all the time, like because.
Yeah, but
Hell yeah.
it's
'Cause
also
it's
your
like-
like meds need to stable out a little bit.
Yeah, I know. It's like when I became like conservative, my mom was like, "Please call the psychiatrist."
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
And I was
My
like,
mom is just like, we agree on many things. Like that's it.
That's it.
it's true. We
Yeah.
do agree on many
But it's
things.
true. I say we do. But I'm not conservative by any means.
No, I
and
mean,
neither is she. She's
I am.
just
I'm conservative
pretending.
in like the values that kept humans that are
You
naturally
have some
ingrained
socially
in.
conservative ties for sure, but you're not like a conservative.
I mean, but what even is conservatives have conserved nothing.
like
Like,
economically.
what
or-
even are they? Yeah, no, there's nothing economic. I don't know. This is conservatism is just like feudalist, Curtis Yarvin, that is like making something totally new is the only way to conserve any like spirit.
There you have it.